Well, here it is. This is the finished diddley bow. The length from what's called here the nut to the bridge, this is called the bridge. That length is 22.5 inches, and that represents a wavelength between those 2 points. The nut and the bridge is a wavelength, and that's what the string is tuned to. That there is the note of G. Just try that again. So that's the open string, and then what I did was, once I had the note of G, I looked up on the internet to get the scale and all the notes, and I've just labelled them all in. So this one down here, once I hold that with something, for example, I was using a screwdriver. I use a pencil this time. I don't think it really matters too much. I'm not going to play this. I just want to go through some of the notes. That's C, and that's C sharp, and that's D, and that's D sharp, and that's E, and that's F, and that's F sharp, and that is G again. So that's the octave above. So you got G there, and then you got that G. Because I haven't got that amplified yet, but I'll just switch this off and come back with the amplifier, and then we'll see what it sounds like that. Okay, I've got the amplifier plugged in now. I'm just gonna unplug it for a second just to show you something. I'll just turn it up. Now, I don't know if you can hear, but that's really quiet. Now if I touch the end, obviously I'm grounded to the earth, so I'm going to have some kind of 50 Hertz voltage running through me. So if I touch that, we should hear it now. So there's the 50 Hertz. I'm not insulated or anything, so you can hear that quite clearly, yeah? And you probably have noticed that when you've gone to live concerts and someone plugs their guitar into their amp, you get that sort of noise. And of course, once they start playing music, you don't hear it. Well, I've done a bit of research since I started doing this, and I found it's quite interesting. They've got two types of pickups, because this effect is quite hard to get rid of. And what I found is there's two types of pickups. There's the normal pickup, and there's this other pickup called a humbucker. It's very interesting. It's got two coils of wire, just like the induction of this transformer here. But what they've done is they've flipped them so that one's wound one way and one's wound the other way, and then what that cleverly does is it cuts out the 50 Hertz hum, but any signal, as in the magnetic field, when you pluck the string, that causes a signal on top which doesn't get neutralized. Basically what happens is, because the two coils are 180 degrees out of phase, it cuts out that hum. So that was really interesting. I didn't know anything about that. So basically you might have seen guitars with more than one pickup, and sometimes you get this kind of pickup that looks like a double pickup. Well, that's called a humbucker. But what's interesting is, a lot of guitarists, from what I've read in the last few days, is that some of them prefer to use a single pickup anyway. So you've got different types of guitar. It actually gets quite involved, and I've only read a little bit about it, so I don't know too much about it. But that's quite interesting. So this effect is acceptable. But what I wanted, this actual mobile phone transformer that I'm using here, this is quite noisy compared to the ones I've bought, but I think it's okay. I'm still going to use it anyway. So basically what I did is I built it in, and I've put my little output DIN here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that in there and show you what it sounds like. So let's do that. Okay, so you can hear a little bit of that hum, but that's okay, because quite acceptable. I can turn that volume down and cut a lot of that out. So if I turn that down, so you can hardly hear it now, but when I play this, you'll hear this now. Oh, actually, let's play it without any volume at all, so you can remember what it sounds like. So this is the open G string on this diddley bow without any amplification. So let's have a listen to that first. So that's that. So that's now. Stick the volume up a bit. I won't stick it up too loud, and that's play it now. there you go. You can. That's a noticeable difference. So that's quite nice. So that's the G. So if I go through those notes again, you'll notice that they sound quite a bit different now, a bit more sort of like reasonable sounding. And also I'm using a pencil. I mean, earlier I was using a metal, something metal, which seemed to work better. I think that's the trick here. So let's try this screwdriver, because that did make, oops, that did make a lot better sound. So I've got a screwdriver here. Let's try that. Oh yeah, that sounds a lot better. I think you can hear that. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. So that's the G, that's the octave up. So you can see that's a G, and this is a G. And then I've got the highest G here, which is the last fret. So that's also G. So you can hear that they're all G notes of G. That's a G, and that's a G. So that's it really. What I'm going to do is, I've got quite into making this, although I can't play it. I've actually got quite a lot out of making it. It's quite a lot of fun. Just quickly show you some of the bits that I did on it. I'll just turn this off now. So just pull that out. So yeah, what I did was I put some feet. A really simple thing. I've like, as you can see, I've put the transformer. I cut a hole in the wood there and buried the transformer in there, and then I made some hole inside the wood so that I could get this socket in there. Really simple, and I just put a plate over the top of it just to make it a bit tidy. So that's the instrument. I mean, it's completely self-contained. I mean, there's no reason why I couldn't put more strings on here. I could put all 6 strings on a normal guitar on here, but I don't want to do it. It needs to be a little bit wider, I think, just because I don't want it to be a normal guitar. I want it to be a lap, you know, something that sits in your lap. So I'm going to build a lap steel. In between now and then, what I'm going to be doing is trying to learn a few notes anyway on this whilst I'm building the other guitar, and then hopefully I'll be able to play something. But you know, so yeah, so you can see here, I've got a shout out to the guy. I'll put a link down to the guy's shop. I mean, there's a local guitar shop from me in Abingdon, Robbins, I can't remember what it's called now. I actually got his card here, yeah. So he helped me out a lot because basically he gave me some good tips. And his company is called Remade Guitars, and he's in Abingdon, and his website is www.remadeguitars.co.uk, and he's helped me out a lot. Basically, he gave me this what's called a machine head, so you can adjust the string, and yeah, so that was good. He also gave me a set of strings, so I've got this string and I've got 5 other strings. He gave me them because they were old ones. Basically, they were in his bin, so he just gave me those. So that was really kind of the guy, and he gave me a lot of good tips about the wood and what I should get for the wood and everything. So that was really good. So what I did was, yeah, like I say, I just put a foot on the end there, so that this doesn't get affected. You know, you can just adjust that there, and that's it really. It's nothing really much to it. Just a wire across it. Like I say, the reason I built it is so that I could basically just test this unit out. This is what I wanted to do. So also, I think it's important to realise what this is for. Really, it's if you haven't. if you haven't got a guitar amp, then you're not going to be able to feed that through a normal amp, because the impedance output of this is really high. Now these transformers, they've got a very high output impedance, so you can't just plug that into a normal line-in socket on your amplifier, say your hi-fi amp. But you can do if you match the impedance of your amplifier to the impedance of this guitar, and that's what this box does really. So it amplifies the signal so that it reduces the impedance, the output impedance from this, so that it'll work on a regular amplifier. But in fact, what I did with this, I've actually increased the output voltage quite a bit, so that it will even run a small set of headphones. So if you don't plug this into an amplifier, you can just plug some headphones in there and then just sit there and practice with a set of headphones on, you know, with a nice bit of volume, instead of this you know, without any amplification, which is a bit boring. You can actually put that on a set of headphones, or like I say, you can plug that. And I've just got a very cheap amplifier from Poundland. You know, I mean, I'm not quite sure if that was from Poundland, but I mean, it was a very cheap, very cheap amplifier anyway. You know, maybe a few pounds. But yeah, so that's great. I mean, you can actually play an electric guitar with this little box. This little box will enable you to play your electric guitar through any amplifier you want. You know, you don't need to have a great big guitar amp. I mean, you might have a guitar and you've got a guitar amp, but you might not want to plug it into your guitar amp. You know, also of course that's quite portable, so you could take that anywhere in the house, you know, and just practice without disturbing the neighbours, you know. So yeah, that was the reason for this, and basically building this was the reason I built this, because I wanted to test this. Yeah, of course, in the process of building this, I've got very interested in the whole thing about making it. It was quite interesting, and it's not difficult to make. It's really easy to make. But as soon as I started to make it, I realised that if you can make one string, you can make a guitar. Basically, you can make a 6-string. So I thought, well, sod it, I'm going to make a 6-string on the next one. So yeah, so now what I've got to do is go and get a nice bit of 4x2, because I'm going to get a wider bit of wood here, and start again and do another one. So so that's it. What I might do in between is go through this circuit with you as well, because it's very interesting. There's 2 amplifiers in there. There's the preamp, which takes a very high impedance output signal from, say, an electric guitar, and then it will knock that up to a quite low impedance, so you can then send that through to a line in, for example. But of course, because I wanted to plug a headphone in, I've built another amplifier which is called a power amp, which comes from that. So this will actually run a set of headphones as well. Yeah. So that's what that actually does, and yeah, that's it really. So that was the whole thing. It's finished now. Project's finished. You know, I've marked in all the frets here, so that I can start practicing now in between this and building the lap steel. I can do a bit of practicing. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the videos. Anyway, I mean, that's the project completed really, and yeah, if you want to subscribe or like, then yeah, please do. I've got some more stuff coming up, and there's going to be a lot of stuff coming up actually about how to make these little circuits, and more audio circuits. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of audio circuits, like a reverb unit, a sustain unit, a tremolo unit. So they're all going to be really interesting, and there's some really neat things about what you can do with those. You know, really sort of like using old junk. You know, instead of paying a fortune for a reverb unit, you can make one for next to nothing. Yeah, so that's going to be real fun. A reverb unit, if you're not sure, it's like an echo. You know, so it sounds like you're playing in a big hall or something. You know, you can get up to about like 1 or 2 seconds echo. So that can be a lot of fun, you know, so I'm quite looking forward to building that as well. So that's all coming. Yeah, like I say, like and subscribe. Got any comments? Yeah, please leave them in the comment section below this video, and I'll see you on the next one.